Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here and a little bit of localish, hopeful goodness in the form of Bradley Beach. This is their anniversary Unicorn Girls. We reviewed the Unicorn Girls quite a bit ago, pre-pandemic actually. They're not super far away from me, but far enough to I can't visit them all that often. We're in Bradley Beach, New Jersey, which is, north of, basically between Point Pleasant and Toms River. And they just had their 5th anniversary. And they did a extra hopped up batch. It says a hazy pale ale, double dry hopped with the choicest of hops. Saw it on the shelf. It's got a little bit of time on it. We got 5/31 as a date on here. We are not at 7/31, so less than 2 months old. And, I see a decent amount of their stuff up and about my area now. They get decent distribution in New Jersey, and I actually do dig their beers quite often. Last one I reviewed probably a month or so ago, and I really did dig it. I ended up giving it to my buddy Keith. He really did dig it. Yeah, let's dive into this sucker, see what's what. So it's your Unicorn Girls, which is their base kind of flagship kind of pale ale. It comes in at 5.4% alcohol by volume, but this is like the extra hopped version of it. So we'll see how this sucker shows and proves. Anyway. Tried to do some ASMR right there, but it didn't really work out. Label-wise, it's alright. It's pretty much what their Unicorn Girls looks like, except it's typically like washed with like a teal background. So same thing. A little bit different coloration. Kind of like a 4th of July themey thing going on, which probably put this right around that time. So label's alright. Beer-wise, it looks like what you want from a new schoolish kind of hazy pale. You're talking about 5 and change, 5.4% to be exact. That soft, washed out kind of haziness, not super turbid. You can definitely get a little light through it. And it's got a nice white, tight head to it. A bit soapy. Let's get a nose. Very much like outside of orange citrus leaning to me with a bit of stone fruit. That's kind of where it really lands. So you're talking about a grapefruit pineapple kind of mixture that's nothing too hyper aggressive, 5.4%. You're not expecting the world here to begin with. And then you get this kind of soft little stone fruit kind of thing going on. Nothing overtly sweet, a little bit of crackery malt. Nothing bittering to speak of, at least a precursor or so on the actual nose. It smells quite nice. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. I like that. Yeah, it's like super drinkable. There's a bittering component here, touched up a little bit by a little carbonic thing, but not that hyper aggressive to where I'm really going to kind of jump on it. I actually like the addition. A little bit of carbonic acid to add a touch of bitterness to the way the hops kind of come off. There's this cool little fruity thing here. It's very much kind of like almost like a lifesaver meets a peach ringy kind of thing kind of floating around in there. Not overly sweet, so it's that kind of combination. It's not hard candy, it's not peach ringy, it's a little bit softer, a little bit more confectionery, but it's very, very cool. It's almost like a tropical fruit slash peachy kind of thing that I really do kind of dig. That grapefruit pineapple thing is the core of the beer, but it really is that cool little like fluttering fruitiness. It really kind of cements this thing as a tasty hazy for me. Nice mouthfeel. It's not going to be confused with being dense or thick by any stretch of the imagination, but it has a nice mouthfeel to it. Enough so to where you know you're drinking something of subtle substance. Words are hard. But at the same time without being turbid. It's not like if we're going to associate with a beer that is near and dear to my heart, that's very close to this brewery, distance-wise, is Cane Brewing. It's their Sneak Box. Sneak Box comes off much more hyper-aggressive, much more kind of turbid and dense. There's a little bit more kind of sessionable level mouthfeel, sessionable level impact, but at the same time showy enough to where you kind of like want to kind of talk about it and say some things on YouTube, apparently. that'd probably be my only gripe then, is that if I'm talking about being a little bit less, I can get on my soapbox about ABV, and I really, really wish this was, 4% or change, but I don't mind it's 5.4% here. I think that Sneak Boxes of the world, those beers that kind of show and prove at that same ABV, but a little bit bigger, a little bit kind of unicorny to a sense, whereas this one's quite tasty, and I have no qualms about picking it up. Again, that little fruity combination, that peach ring, life savory kind of combination, floating in and out of that tropical fruit that I kind of mentioned on, is by and far away the coolest part of the beer. I like this. I like it quite a bit. It's drinkable. And I know that sounds kind of like almost like a backhanded compliment, but I don't mean it like that. I mean like something that is tasty, drinkable, fun. All the stuff you kind of want in a beer. There's actually a malt base to it. Comes off slightly nutty and crackery. So it's like one of those beers that, I gotta lie to you, really dig it. I wish I had it super hyper fresh to see where it was like volumetrically, to see if it was like a bit more of a boisterous beer. But at the same time, for like a low ABV hazy being part of their 5th anniversary just kind of tickles me pink on the inside. Again, it's a play off of their flagship beer, so it kind of makes sense. But in the grand scheme of things, it's really tasty. And honestly, it makes me kind of bummed I haven't visited there in quite so long. A combination of the pandemic, in combination with having a kiddo, it's hard for me to travel nowadays. So a lot of the beers that I have, even locally, tend to come off the shelf as opposed to going to an actual brewery. But to have something like this and taste how fun it is and enjoying their beers, when I've gone to the brewery and stuff like that, it kind of makes me want to go back. I'll have to remedy that soon. So, yeah, Bradley Beach, 5th anniversary, Unicorn Girls, the extra hopped version. I'm a fan. Is it one of the better low ABV hazy pales? Yes. It's a Mount Rushmore status. Again, when you're up against, the Pseudo Sues, the Sneak Boxes, the Boats of the world, it's a very, very hard thing to get in there. It's worthy, let's put it that way. If it's not on there, it's worthy being up there. Value to availability on this, I still want to say this is decently cheap, probably $15, sub $15. For an anniversary beer, even if it is low ABV, I'm cool with that. I'll leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like those beers I mentioned, low ABV haze, made really, really well, this will definitely tickle you pink. Bradley Beach, have you been in the brewery? Very small spot. Right on the, right in between, like I said, Toms River and Seaside / up to Point Pleasant area. I've been there several times. Small little place, but I always had a blast when I go there. Have you been there? Have you had their beers? Have you had several of the beers? Have you had this particular beer? This anniversary beer? If you had, let's talk about it down there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little anniversary jams right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers, y'all.